In the ancient annals of time, the history of indigenous Australians unfolds like an epic odyssey, stretching back at least 65,000 years into the mists of the past. These narratives encompass the Aboriginal Australian and Torres Strait Islander peoples, encompassing a rich tapestry of subgroups, each woven together by language and culture. The origins of these first Australians, who ventured onto the southern continent as it emerged from the seas, remain shrouded in conjecture and debate. Some believe their footsteps may trace back to the earliest human migrations out of Africa, although definitive genetic links to known Asian or Melanesian populations remain elusive. Nonetheless, evidence hints at exchanges, both genetic and linguistic, between Northern Australians and the Austronesian peoples of New Guinea and neighbouring islands. As the curtain rose on 1788, when colonization unfurled its sails on Australian shores, these lands were inhabited by a tapestry of diverse groups, numbering anywhere from 300,000 to 1 million, with upper estimates soaring to 1 million. Remarkably, a staggering 1 billion souls are believed to have inhabited these lands over 65,000 years prior to British colonization. The heartlands of indigenous population were akin to those of modern Australia's coastal regions, with the Murray River Valley reigning supreme. Yet, this population witnessed a drastic descent, dwindling to 50,000 by 1930. This haunting decline has been attributed to the grim spectres of smallpox and other diseases, but other narratives speak of the frontier's violent clashes and, in some harrowing cases, deliberate killings of indigenous peoples. In the wake of colonization, the coastal indigenous populations found themselves at a crossroads, with many being absorbed, exterminated, displaced, or forced from their ancestral lands. The echoes of traditional Aboriginal life, however, resonated most profoundly in regions like the Great Sandy Desert, where European settlement remained sparse. While the Aboriginal Tasmanians stood on the precipice of extinction, their counterparts across the continent persevered, nurturing thriving communities that defied the odds. The tale of migration to Australia is equally riveting. In the ancient epoch, when Australia was tethered to the Sahul continent, early human migration faced the formidable Wallace Line. Yet, a path, perhaps an island-hopping journey via the Timor route, brought them to the Kimberley region of Western Australia some 60,000 years ago. As they ventured forth, their footprints traced two main routes, the southern passage leading to the Great Sandy Desert and the southeastern reaches, while the northern route spanned the Torres Strait and branched towards Arnhem Land and the east coast. Majid Bibi, a revered site, bears witness to humanity's ancient presence. Nearby, rock shelters at Norvale Bila reveal fragments of ochre used by artists 60,000 years ago. Stone tools from Penrith, ranging from 45,000 to 50,000 years old, stand as a testament to ancient craftsmanship. On Rottnest Island, West Australia, chert and calcrete flake stone tools date back a staggering 70,000 years. Tasmania, isolated from the mainland as seas rose around 12,000 years ago, witnessed the arrival of intrepid souls approximately 40,000 years ago. Amidst these tales of antiquity, the enduring spirit of Australia's first peoples is etched into the landscape. From Mungo Man, who graced the shores of Lake Mungo over 40,000 years ago, to the enigmatic Baronians of North Queensland, Indigenous Australia stands as a testament to resilience, ancient wisdom, and the enduring echoes of history. In the early days of Australia, when the northern shores lay closest to Asia, the land was a tapestry of open tropical forests and woodlands, a pristine canvas waiting for the hands of time to paint its story. For over 10,000 years, the Aboriginal people ventured across this vast continent, settling and adapting as they journeyed. They thrived under the embrace of stable climatic conditions until a chill descended, and winds whispered of an impending ice age. During this glacial zenith, some 15,000 to 25,000 years ago, the sea retreated, unveiling vast stretches of the seabed. Australia became one with New Guinea, and a narrow strait of only about 90 kilometers separated the Kimberley region of Western Australia from Southeast Asia. Rainfall dwindled, parching the earth with 40% to 50% less moisture than today. To add to the challenge, lower CO2 levels meant that plants thirsted for twice as much water for photosynthesis. The Kimberley and its continental Sahul shelf danced beneath vast grasslands, dominated by the elegant flowering plants of the Poaceae family. Meanwhile, deserts and undulating sand dunes ruled over vast expanses, from the Gulf of Carpentaria to northern Tasmania. In this harsh embrace, fewer than 15% of Australia's lands bore witness to the shade of trees. Yet, pockets of life clung tenaciously to existence. Some tree cover persisted in the southeast, while wet coastal regions fostered semi-arid savannas, tropical rainforests. Survivors in isolated coastal Queensland pockets painted a green oasis in this arid palette. Tasmania wore a coat of cold steppe and alpine grasslands, with snow pines gracing its lower altitudes. It's believed that Aboriginal populations dwindled during this era, seeking refuge in isolated enclaves where both their traditions and the land itself endured. Corridors between these refuges wove the threads of contact and continuity. As the Ice Age's grip loosened, rejuvenating rains returned, nurturing the land. Yet, around 5,500 years ago, a cataclysmic shift unfolded, as the northern wet season lost its rhythm, plunging the region into a mega-drought that stretched for 1,500 years. It was not until roughly 4,000 years ago that reliable rains graced Australia once more, bestowing upon it the climate it knows today. In the wake of the Ice Age's departure, stories whispered among Aboriginal people along the coasts, from Arnhem Land to the Kimberley and southwest Western Australia. These tales spoke of ancestral lands that succumbed to the rising tides as coastlines swelled. This fateful event would isolate Tasmania's Aboriginal people on their island and likely spelled the end for cultures on the Bass Strait Islands and Kangaroo Island in South Australia. In the interior, the vanishing Ice Age may have invited the recolonization of desert and semi-desert realms by Aboriginal people from the Northern Territory. This movement possibly contributed to the spread of languages from the Palmer-Nyungan language family and, in a ripple effect, the propagation of male initiation rites involving circumcision. Over the ages, Papuan peoples, Torres Strait Islanders, and Aboriginal communities in Cape York engaged in a rich tapestry of contact and exchange. Amidst these tumultuous times, debates echoed about the role of indigenous people in the extinction of the marsupial megafauna. Some argued that the megafauna's fate rested in the hands of natural climate change, while others painted a picture of human hunters as the culprits. Another theory suggested that the environment, shaped by human use of fire, indirectly led to their demise. Through the ages, oral history remained a steadfast guardian, preserving the culture of Indigenous Australians for at least 10,000 years. These tales wove a thread connecting past and present, linking stories of shifting shorelines with the memory of megafauna and comets in the night sky. In this ever-changing land, the heartbeat of tradition thrived. The Aboriginal people lived in harmony with the land, guided by the rhythms of nature to nourish their bodies and souls. Their diet, though limited to the foods found naturally in their regions, was a testament to their deep understanding of the environment. In the heart of Arnhem Land, anthropologists and nutrition experts marveled at the balanced diet these people enjoyed, a diet that modern dietitians would applaud. But such sustenance was not easily won. Daily life demanded dedication. Women ventured into the countryside each day, armed with wooden digging sticks and plaited dilly bags or wooden coolamons. These tools were their companions in the quest for sustenance. They hunted and foraged, their expertise allowing them to locate the edible treasures hidden in the landscape. The larger prey, like kangaroos and emus, required strategy. Spears or thrown clubs brought these animals down, while the men, masters of tracking and stalking, approached their quarry with stealth. Running for cover when needed or crawling through the open plains, they always moved downwind, sometimes even masking their scent with mud. Fish, a staple for many coastal communities, were secured by stirring the muddy pool beds to force them to surface or by using crushed leaves from poisonous plants to stupefy them. Ingenious devices like fish spears, nets, wicker or stone traps were deployed depending on the locale. Hooks crafted from bone, shell, wood, or spines dangled from lines along the north and east coasts. For dugong, turtles, and formidable fish, the harpoon was the weapon of choice, with the harpooner leaping from the canoe to give force to the thrust. The people of Torres Strait Islands and mainland Aboriginal communities, predominantly hunters and gatherers, found themselves in a reciprocal relationship with the land. Yet, some Torres Strait Islanders cultivated bananas. Coastal and river-dwelling Aboriginal Australians were also skilled fishermen, their nets and traps weaving a tapestry of sustenance. And let's not forget their companions. In some areas, dingoes were cherished as hunting partners and sources of warmth during cold nights. In the fertile lands of present-day Victoria, two distinct communities thrived, cultivating eels in extensive, irrigated pond systems, one nestled along the Murray River in the north, the other in the southwest near Hamilton, territory of the Djop Wurrung. These communities traded their eel harvests, reaching as far as Melbourne. The spear was the hero of the hunt, propelled by the woomera or spear thrower in some regions. Boomerangs, too, danced through the air, though not the returning kind. Instead, the non-returnable boomerang, a throwing stick with might, could incapacitate or even slay a kangaroo. In mainland Australia, only the dingo was domesticated. Yet, on the Torres Strait Islands, domestic pigs and cassowaries found their place among the people. The Aboriginal diet was a mosaic of flavors, featuring kangaroo, emu, wombats, goanna, snakes, birds, and even insects like honey ants, bogong moths, and witchetty grubs. And the flora painted a colorful palette: taro, coconuts, nuts, fruits, and berries. In this rich landscape of sustenance, the culture of Aboriginal Australians found its roots. Some communities settled in permanent villages, especially in the Torres Strait Islands, while others embraced a semi-nomadic existence. These nomads, moving in sync with the seasons and food sources, returned to the same sacred places year after year. The ancient land breathed with stories, and these tales, etched in rocks across northern Australia, unfolded as a living history. Different styles of rock art marked distinct historical periods, each brushstroke a testament to the changing epochs. Amid these shifts, a theory proposed by Harry Lorando suggested a period of agricultural intensification between 3000 and 1000 BCE. This transformation witnessed increased human interaction with the environment, population growth, elaborate trade networks, a more complex social structure, and cultural evolution. Stone tools became smaller and more intricate, and the dingo set foot on the mainland. Over thousands of years, complex kinship structures and marriage rules wove the social fabric. Men and women from different clans came together annually in grand gatherings known as corroborees. Here, they traded goods, shared news, and arranged marriages, all amid age-old ceremonies. These gatherings both fortified clan bonds and protected against the dangers of inbreeding in the world of small, semi-nomadic communities. In this dance of tradition, the Aboriginal people painted the land with their stories, turning each page of history with reverence for the earth that nourished them.